Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Fishing with Paxton. Today we're going to be talking about my top 5 winter bass fishing lures. Number 5 is swim baits. Some of the swim baits I like are the Loaded Dangerous Swimmer from Bass Mafia or the Mag Draft. They don't have to be big swim baits either. You can just do a little jig head swim bait and it'll work just as good. You want to let your swim baits sink down near the bottom with the Mag Draft. I'd fish it more near rock because it has that treble hook that will get snagged in the dead grass and the like wood and stuff that's around this time of the year. And if you're fishing wood and the dead grass and other stuff besides rock, I would go with one of these two because they have that top hook, keeping them from getting snagged on those pieces of cover. The Retrieve depends on which one you're using. If you're using one of the little more finesse ones, you let it sink all the way to the bottom and just, here, 1 second. And you just slowly reel, like very slow. And then these will, the Loaded Swimmer, you can, Loaded Dangerous Swimmer, you can do the same with, because it's got that top hook and it'll just stay straight up and down like that. And then the Mag Draft, I like to throw up by that hard cover, like the docks and stuff that those fish might be, like the docks where they're in around 10 to 20 foot of water. Then, because that metal like heats up faster than the rock and the wood does, and it holds the heat. So that will attract the bass in the winter, and you can throw your Mag Draft up in there and just slowly slim it, and it will get hit. My number 4 lure. My number 4 is a Ned rig. It's just one of my more confidence finesse lures for the winter. All you really do with it is you cast it out there, let it sink to the bottom, and you can either just drag it across the bottom or you can hop it too. This doesn't work so good in those places like the Mag Draft doesn't work. My number 3 lure for bass fishing in the winter has got to be a drop shot. Some of my new favorite drop shot baits are from 6 Sense. One of them is the 2.8 inch Panorama, and the other one is the 4-inch Strobe Minnow. The drop shot is it's pretty hard to tie up if you don't know what you're doing. But once you learn how to tie it up, it's pretty easy. Basically, with the drop shot, you kind of fish it like a Ned rig, except when you cast it out there, you let it sink to the bottom. Instead of hopping it, you tighten your line. I tighten my line, so it's there's not as much slack. How do I explain? I try and get it instead of having it all bunched up like this, I try and get it close to that tight. And then all I do is wiggle that and let it go slack and go unslack. And with this Panorama, what that does is it gets it to wobble up and down, kind of like how Wacky Worm wobbles when you do that, and the sides flare down and up. The Panorama does the same thing with its tail, as it flares up and down like that. You can rig this multiple ways. You can rig it with a Texas rig hook. You can thread your lure up your soft plastic up onto that drop shot hook. Some people even throw Ned rigs on the bottom, depending on your state's laws that you can do that. But I'd recommend it only doing it with rock, because that Ned rig will get snagged. My number 2 lure for bass fishing in the winter are jerk baits. I have really 3 jerk baits I cycle through, because these are like the only 3 I have. This is the, I don't know what they call it, but it's the Bass Pro XPS series jerk bait in like a bone color. Then this is the Sixth Sense not a panorama, but it's a 6 cents jerk bait. That's another one I use. And then I just got this. There's gonna be a video review coming out on it, but it's my Vision 110 plus one Vision 110 plus 1 Junior. There's a lot of different opinions on how to fish jerk baits in the winter. Some people say you just jerk it, like jerk, like how you normally would, and just let it pause for longer. Some people say slow jerk it instead of that violent twitch, so it looks more realistic, and let it like not sit there for long. Personally, I do the violent jerks and then let it sit there, and I just let it sit there for like about 5 to 8 seconds, depending on what the bass want to eat that day. The main thing with jerk baits, like the best tip I have, is get a jerk bait for the depth you're going to be fishing. If you're fishing 15-foot bluffs on a main lake, then like something like the Vision 110 Plus that dives to around 7, well, I think if dives around 12 feet actually, like something like that would be good. Or like if you're fishing shallow creek pockets, something like the Bass Pro XPS series will work, that dives to only about 5 feet. It depends what you're fishing for jerk baits. The color depends on water clarity. The retrieve depends on how those fish are acting that day. The build depends on how deep the water is you're fishing. For my favorite lure of winter bass fishing is gonna be jigs. I don't really throw finesse jigs, mainly because I don't got any, but I have one more finesse-y, and then I have my big honker one. So my finesse jig that I got is, or like kind of finesse, I don't know what brand it is, got it from Walmart, not gonna lie, but it's like a red and brown. Then I got a Flamin' Hot Bandito Bug cut. I have it like split, so it makes that smaller. Then for my bigger one I got a black and blue green jig. This one's actually a football jig with 6 cents 4-inch Bodega and black and blue. Jigs, it depends which jig you're fishing and what bottom surface you're fishing on your retrieve. So if I'm fishing sand, I'm hopping that jig. I'm not gonna drag it and let that jig just pile up a bunch of sand in front of it. Because that won't look natural. I'm gonna hop it so it just floats along the bottom of that sand. But if I'm fishing more rocky water, I'm going to drag that jig and let it just slowly make its way over all those rocks, letting the bass like feel the vibrations off it hitting off rocks. And plus, if you have a football jig and you're doing it, it will hit, if it hits a rock and it's like big enough in its way, it will eventually stand up, and those claws will be standing straight up, and that can cause some strikes sometimes. What I'm throwing jigs around. I'm throwing jigs around hardcover mainly, not really so much weeds, even though there's not many in winter. You're usually fishing hardcover. That's why the jigs are one of my favorite. I'm usually fishing more normal Arky style heads near docks and overhanging trees that heat up during the hot parts of the day. And I'm throwing my offshore stuff is going to be the football jig and just dragging it across the bottom. Let's talk about gear to throw each thing on. So my drop shot, I throw it on my 6-foot medium. 1 second, let me flip it around. My 6-foot medium American Hero rod. It's got 6-pound mono, and that's what I throw it on. It's a, what gear ratio is it? It's a, it doesn't say. But that's what I throw it on. Is you throw it on a spinning combo because it is a finesse lure. Then my swim baits and jigs, I'm throwing it on my Lose Smash. It's a 610 medium heavy fast action. It's got that more backbone to set those thick wire hooks and to throw these big lures that you need to be able to throw them with and pull them out of structure, like pull the fish out of structure. And then for my little finesse swim bait and my jerk baits, I'm throwing it on my own custom built rod here. It's on a Okamanua reflections rod with a Lose speed spool. I think it's a 7.51 gear ratio. 7.51 to gear. Whoa, 7.5 to 1 gear ratio. I got 12-pound fluoro on it to just keep it more finessey. Other than I throw those big lures on my Smash with 17-pound fluoro. Thank you guys for watching today's video. If you liked the video and you want to see more from my channel, go down, like, subscribe. You can click on my channel and watch any other videos that I've put out. And if you have any questions about any lures or retrieves or anything, just comment down below. Other than that, hope you guys have a great day. Thank you guys for watching again. I'll see you guys later.